Hello, my name is Lee Adcock, and today I'll be walking you through building the finger paint application for AppInventor. It's a pretty straightforward application with a user interface that allows the user to touch the screen and draw different shapes and pictures using a couple of different colors. Our first step is to build out the application user interface, and then we'll go in as the second step and create the logic that controls how the finger interacts with the screen and how the user can select the colors. So far, I've gone to App Inventor and I've created a new project. And now I'm sitting here looking at a blank screen. So since the layout of our finger paint application has four buttons horizontally across the top and then the canvas below, let's start by grabbing a horizontal arrangement and dragging it over to the screen. Inside this horizontal arrangement, I'm going to drag four buttons and drop it right inside, allowing them to stack up across the top. First three will be my colors, and the last four will be the eraser. Then I'm going to go down to drawing and animation. I'm going to drag a canvas over. So that gives me my four buttons and my canvas. Of course, the layout here doesn't look exactly like what we want the actual layout to look like on the screen. So we're going to go through and select each of these and change some of the properties. Before I do that, I want to go through this list of components and give them names that make a little bit more sense. Something a little bit more specific than button 1 and button 2. So to do this, I'm going to select each one, starting at the top, and work my way down using the rename button down here. So for my horizontal arrangement, let's call this the color button arrangement. And then for each of the buttons, we'll name it after the color that it's going to be selecting when the user touches it. So my first one can be the red button, followed by the green button and the blue button. These will be really handy when I start building out the logic blocks. And I won't have to remember which button 1, button 2 is because I'll have these nice, easy to use names. My last one will be the erase button, and then the canvas itself, I'm going to call a paint canvas. And then again, I'm going to go through each of these and update different properties on each of those components. So starting with the button arrangement, let's change the width to fill parent. That means this color button arrangement will always span the width of the screen, regardless of the size of the screen or the orientation of your device. Then for each of these buttons, I'm going to go and change the background color. I'm going to change the width to fill, and I'm going to update it with a nice text. So for this example, I changed it to red, set it to fill, and made the text red. Because these other buttons are so large, you can see that there's not much room for my red button anymore. But as I go through and complete those steps for each of these, I'll do green next. You'll see that they start to line up really nicely. And then for my eraser, I'm going to leave the color as it is and just change the text and the fill. Then from my canvas, I want this to fill this entire space at the bottom of the screen. So what I'll do is I'll set that both height and width to fill parent. And with that done, I've pretty much created the entire user experience for the finger paint application. The next step is to define what exactly it is these buttons do and how the user's touch interacts with the paint canvas. To do that, I'm going to go up here to the top and select blocks. And then I'll and go through each different button color to control its behavior. So if I click red button and then choose the when red button clicked event, then I can define what happens when that red button is touched. I'm going to go over to my paint canvas, and in this case I want to set the background color, the paint color, to red. So I'm just going to scroll down here until I find set paint canvas paint color. And I'll drop that in place. And then if I go back over to the list of colors, I can find a red one. Now I'm going to do the same thing here for my others, for both the red, the green, and the blue. For the first one here, and the second, I'll do it manually, and then I'll show you a tip for making this a little bit faster. When green button is clicked, set the paint canvas paint color to green. Now instead of using the menus over here to pick out each of these blocks, I can also just right click on the top level one here and say duplicate. And then just change this to be blue and change the color to be blue. So when I have logic that's very similar, copying and pasting it, duplicating it, allows me to make small adjustments and build out a lot of blocks quickly. For my erase button, when the erase is clicked, I want to clear the canvas. So go over to Paint Canvas. I found this event paint called Paint Canvas Clear. Drop that into place. So now I have a way for my users to be able to select different colors and also to clear the entire canvas. The one piece that's missing is allowing them to drag their finger over the canvas to paint. And that's what we'll do next. If I go to Paint Canvas, then I can choose when the paint canvas is dragged. And that's right up here at the top. And this gives me a number of different values to work with that explain how the finger is dragging over the screen. So current X and Y are where my finger is currently at this very moment. Start X and Y is where I put it down initially. And then previous X and Y will allow me to have a series of coordinates as the finger makes a motion across the screen that describes the different segments along that path. So for me, I want to draw a line from the current X and Y where my finger is right now to where it was just a moment ago, the previous X and Y. So when it's dragged, I want my paint canvas to draw a line from the previous X and previous Y to the current X and the current Y. And this describes all of the logic I need for this application. If I go up to Build, I can say Provide QR code for APK. And in just a few minutes, I'll have a QR code that I can scan on my device, pull up this app, and start painting. That's pretty much all there is to it. There's a lot of great ways that we can extend this application and do a lot of more advanced, interesting topics, and we'll cover those in some follow-up videos. Thanks, and it's been great coding with you.